order. First, we're going to review the fiscal report for February 2021 and the various invoices. Let's first look at that February 2021 report. It's the 10th month of the current fiscal year. Obviously, at this point of the year, not much happening on the revenue side.
Get out of that.
Reno or Jennifer, or is there anything worth noting in this February report?
We received a partial payment for the Project Next Generation grant, and that is reflected under publicity and programming.
Gotcha.
So that was, we paid for our materials out of pocket and then are being reimbursed by the state.
All right. Anything else? Anybody on the committee have any questions about anything in the February financial report? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve this report and move it on to the full board?
I'll make the motion. Jane.
Do we have and seconded by Cindy? Any other questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this report and sending it on to the full board signify by saying aye. Aye. All approved. Thank you. Let's move on to invoices. Again, I'll throw the ball to Reno and Jennifer. Are there any invoices of note? I must admit that I didn't rotate all of my documents, so busily rotating each of them so I can read them. So bear with me here.
Just in case anybody was wondering, the very last page of the March payments, Kavanaugh Scully, the attorney's fees, that was for the library attorney, Philip Lazzini, to look over a memorandum of understanding between us and the Master Gardeners of the U of I and answer some questions I had about that.
Okay.
If I may add, for the maintenance of building, we have the Johnson controls. We spent big amounts for that. Repair of the boiler one, and for HVAC contract, we have the figure showing in here is about $12,217.89. Which consists of HVAC contract. The sprinkler system was also paid, also elevator maintenance, and also some repairs. For equipment maintenance, we have an actual of $4,136.47. That's because of this computer maintenance. We have also the microfilm reader printer maintenance. So a total of which is $4,136.47 with a variance of 7 to 8%.
Thank you, Reno, for bringing those to our attention. Are there any questions from the committee about any of the invoices? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve these and move them on to the full board?
So moved.
Moved by Mark. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jane. All those in favor of approving these invoices and moving them on to the full board signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Everyone approved, so thank you. We do have an action item to consider this time around. It concerns the upcoming fiscal year budget, which starts May 1. We've had to revise some of the line items on that budget. The action item document kind of spells out what those revisions are. Jennifer, I don't know if you want to illuminate on any of these adjustments. It all seems to make sense here on the document.
Okay, I mean, I can go into more detail if there's any questions, but it basically kind of is what it is. I will point out number 7 was creating a line item within publicity and programming for staff recognition. Jessica and I spoke with Annie Monyak regarding that sort of generally, and I asked if she knew if that was generally part of a company or a business's budget to have a line item for staff recognition, because we didn't have one. And she said, absolutely. So we moved some around to create that new line item so that we can give the staff association some funds to buy the birthday cards, do the birthday cakes, all the other little things like that throughout the year. Prior to this, it all came from managers' pockets.
Remind me, number 4,
Yes.
that we originally budgeted for self-checkout machines and no longer needed.
Right, because we were able to buy one with the technology fund, and it was not nearly as expensive as I was anticipating.
Okay, excellent. I forgot. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
And I guess, do we forward this revised budget if approved? Do we forward this revised budget then to the city? Does the city need to, or are we just moving some line items around within the parameters that the city has given us?
Exactly. They've approved the bottom line. The bottom line hasn't changed. We're just shuffling some funds around.
And Jennifer and I talked about the fact that we're probably going to set up a meeting with the mayor in the very near future and have a little chat, talk about these budget changes. In fact, we've surveyed staff, so we're looking at some changes there too. So we're just going to touch base with them, but it doesn't change the bottom line. So at least that's, we're good.
Okay. Are there any questions from the Finance Committee on this particular action item? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve this item and move it on to the full board for their consideration?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Cindy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mark. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this action item and moving it on to the full board signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All have approved. Thank you. The other item we have on our agenda is an item of information. Outsourcing some nighttime janitorial work. And it looks like we've received a couple of bids to do this work. Again, Jennifer, anything you want to add to the
Well,
information that's been given to us?
Yeah, just to kind of elaborate, we had changed that job description for the nighttime janitorial to include more facilities maintenance work during the day. Unfortunately, we didn't find any candidates that met our needs. So I thought, well, I know outsourcing night janitorial is a practice. Why not see what's out there, see what the quotes look like? And this is what was returned to us. So as you can see, if we were to just hire a nighttime janitorial staff at 25 hours a week, that's what, 5 days a week is, it comes in quite a bit cheaper than outsourcing. So I'm open to any further suggestions on this, or if you would like to turn this into an action item at a future meeting, but this was more of an informational, this is what we did, probably not going to go this direction. And we'll look to hire internally again.
My suggestion when I saw this was, because I was wondering if that meant that it was only $1,265 a month for an employee versus an outsourced. My experience with outsourced entities have always been they don't take the pride that you take when you actually are an employee somewhere. So the work, I think, tends to be less than what it would be if you had an actual library employee. They take pride in it a little bit more ownership in the fact that that's where they work. And when it gets outsourced, their responsibility is to their employer, and you're not the employer. You wouldn't be the employer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times there gets to be some problems with the communications between the company and and like the library. My suggestion would be, if you can't find somebody at that, maybe you up how much they're getting paid, and it might be more appealing to someone. Or if I don't know if you've gone out to employment agencies, how much that costs to just get somebody in initially to work, as a temporarily. I've never, and I've talked to people, I was in that kind of position where it got a job that got outsourced, and had spoke to many different colleges that had like their janitorial service. And what they responded to me with janitorial services was a nightmare. They're only coming in a couple days a week. If it's winter and there's salt coming in, they weren't there to clean up the salt off the floor. If you're not cleaning the salt off the floor, then that's eating away at the material of the floor. And, it just didn't look the same. What the buildings looked like to them were no longer, they were kind of dirty, and there wasn't really a whole lot they could do about it. So
sure. And someone else had shared sort of that generally with me. I was basing this inquiry off of our outsourcing of our security guard, and the professionalism we have from him and his company, and how easy they've been to work with, and sort of our difficulties internally. I thought it was worth a shot. Didn't hurt to find out. We found out. Here it is.
It's quite a bit more. And it's quite a bit more for what I think you would be getting is quite a bit less.
Our lights are flickering here. To be fair, I was very impressed with both of the supervisors that came and did our quote. They were both they
looked good on paper, and they probably sounded good, but and they could be fine. It could be fine, but
right. Well, unfortunately, this is coming down to the bottom line, and it doesn't look like it. We have it in the budget at least this year. So
yeah.
Any other questions on this item from anyone else? Thanks, Jennifer, for at least making the effort to get us informed about this. There are no other, is there any other business that the Finance Committee needs to address at this point? Anybody from the committee? Hearing none, we will meet again on Tuesday, April 20th at 3:45, just prior to the full board meeting. And until then, the Finance Committee meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Knobloch. Look at you, you hit the top of the hour, didn't you? Let's see. Yep,
I
you
know,
did.
I used to always have to back time right into CBS Network News. So
That's true. Once you've experienced that, you know what to do. All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting of the library board to order. Again, excuse my voice, it's better than it was. We're just not there yet, but bear with me. Thank you for all of you for being here. We do appreciate what you do for the library. So we will begin with the Secretary's report from Jane.
Okay, thank you. We received the minutes of the February meeting in our email. I hope you've all had a chance to look at it. Do we have any questions pertaining to those minutes?
I do have one, and it might be, this may have been the way it was worded this whole time and it just never clicked. And today when I looked at it, it clicked. But we're saying that we're having this meeting for Zoom due to a mandated shelter in place, and we're not in a shelter in place anymore. Would it be like the phase 4 COVID restrictions?
Sure.
I mean,
We can
that's
change that.
not that I don't know that it matters, but
Do we need to make a motion to change that line?
I don't think you need a motion for it.
Okay,
Well, you can if you want to change it in the minutes, that's fine. Or we can just go forward.
could we
Yeah,
just go
However you
forward
want to do it.
from now on?
yeah, and that could have been
I
worded
think
like
it's-
that the whole time. And
I think it's fine if we go forward.
Okay, so let's just make a note that henceforth we will refer to phase 4 or something of COVID. Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So
I
moved.
make a motion.
Okay, I think we have, who was first? Jim, maybe? Or Martha? Jim, you made the motion. Martha, would you second, please?
That'll be fine. I can
Okay,
second.
thank you. We've had a motion and a second. Hearing no other questions, we need a roll call, I think.
Jane,
Yes?
Cindy,
yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jeremy. You're muted. Jeremy,
Yes.
thank you. Mary,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Martha.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Okay,
That is all. Thank you.
thank you. Treasurer's report, invoices and investments, Mr. Knobloch.
Thank you. We have the February Treasurer's Report to consider first. Represents the 10th month of the current fiscal year. The Finance Committee just recently approved this for the board's consideration. Jennifer, maybe for the benefit of the rest of the board members who aren't on the Finance Committee, maybe just explain the one line item in expenditures, publicity and programming that might catch a few eyes.
Sure.
Explain to us what's going on there.
We received a partial payment for our Project Next Generation expenditures. We pay for that up front and then are reimbursed by the state. So we've received a partial payment for that. Partial repayment, I should say.
And I guess a couple of other expenditures, the maintenance of building, Reno, were those some of the Johnson Control expenses for the boiler work, or is that not showing up yet on
Yeah,
Is
they have. Yeah, we have already paid Johnson and Controls last month. We paid 8,936 for them. We also paid for the sprinkler system and elevator maintenance. The total of which is the actual is 12,217 and 89 with a variance of 81%. And for maintenance of equipment, postage machine maintenance, and also computer maintenance, and we also renew our microfilm reader, printer maintenance. So we have a total of 4,136 and 47 cents with a variance of 78%.
Okay. Does anyone else on the board have any questions about the February treasurer's report? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this report?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
We'll give Martha the second on that because Cindy, you didn't unmute yourself. So that's.
I cannot wait. That is one thing I will love to not hear anymore. You're on mute. You're on mute.
All right. Any other questions about the February report? Hearing none, Reno, would you please call the roll?
Jane,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Martha.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Let's turn to the invoices.
Do everybody's invoices come out sideways? Is there any way to
Yeah.
make those, is there any way
Yeah.
to make them straight?
Yeah, up, well, at least the PDF reader that I have, up on your top of the screen for that, there should be a little rectangle with an arrow that's kind of going up over the upper right-hand corner. Keep clicking that and that will keep rotating your document.
Okay.
I'm on a Mac, so I don't know if there's different controls for a PC or not.
I
I'm
don't
on
think
the
I
phone
have
if
that.
anybody has a suggestion for that one, so.
I pointed out during finance that the attorney's fees on the last March page were concerning consulting with a library attorney named Philip Lenzini about our MOU from the Master Gardeners and just getting his opinion.
It's an MOU.
Memorandum of Understanding. It's our agreement with the Master Gardeners.
As you kind of scroll through the invoices, you can see some of the HVAC work kind of broken down. Some of the Johnson Controls payments, United Refrigeration payments that were made.
We're still getting some consulting from Susie, I see.
Yes. Yep.
Does she come into the library or does she answer while she's out hang gliding somewhere on the phone or something?
Yeah, she's in Florida for a
Just-
week. We left her alone then, but she does.
So
come
while
to-
she's out marlin fishing, she answers her phone.
Yes, yep. So I believe the plan is to help Reno get through the audit and then he should be good to go.
All right. Are there any other questions
Thank you,
about
Jen.
any of the other invoices? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve these invoices?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Jane. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mark. Any other questions? Hearing none, Reno, would you please call roll?
Jane,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Martha.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's all I have for the time being.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up is Director and Personnel Reports from Director Hess.
So we have 2 practicum students joining us from the U of I, one in person and one virtually. Kaylee comes over and is assisting with Teen Zone and the Children's Department. Her big project is creating a virtual Dungeons and Dragons like club, which Jessica can probably give you more information about because all of that goes over my head. But Kathia is from California and she communicates through email and phone calls, and she's spoken with both Martha and Martha's daughter. So thank you very much, Martha, for that. She is going to be
You're
setting
welcome.
up our Spanish language virtual book club through Zoom here shortly. So we're very excited to have that. We also have 2 new staff members, Kathy Hoax and JC Whitaker. Kathy is the 15-hour administrative assistant, and we were actually able to squeeze in JC as a floating assistant to move about the departments as needed, but she will mostly be at the greeter desk and circulation. But if there's a call in or what have you, she can go to that department and help fill in. She is also 15 hours a week. Craft kits and curbside continue to do very well. So and we did start the tween subscription boxes. So we have subscription boxes now for teens, tweens, and adults. And the teen one should be wrapping up from what they originally had planned. That's all from me. Jessica, do you have anything to add?
I was just going to add that we're back on the radio at D102 talking about library services. In fact, I was there again just yesterday. And we had a ragtime music concert on Zoom in late February, and that was so much fun. I especially enjoyed the fact that they wanted to do kind of a check-in earlier in the week, so I basically got a private concert, and I enjoyed that. But also in February, and it premiered just last week, was our music video for Free Stuff. And Jennifer, I don't know if you want me to, but I could share my screen and show them the video.
It's pretty cool.
I will leave that up to Linda. It's about 3 minutes long. We can either show it now or send you the link later if you would like to view it at your own leisure.
Why don't you go ahead and send the link so everybody knows how to access so they can see it? That'd be great.
Okay.
Are you in that, Jennifer?
Unfortunately, yes.
I
She
thought
is.
so. I thought I recognized you with the one hat with the hat
Yes.
on.
We had a situation where filming was delayed by a day, which meant one of our new books on the shelf had to drop out. And since I knew the choreography and could fit the costume, there we go.
Well, I liked it very much.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. The kids had a great time.
You want to give just a quick note about what Peter is estimating on the foundation's gain from that is?
He told me earlier that they have grossed over 35,000. Their net will be somewhat less than that because of cost, but he's working on those final numbers, and overall his board was very happy with the turnout for the gala, especially since this was something very new and a little last minute, and also they enjoyed the video and said it was fun and silly, which was the intent. So
I do want to take just a second and thank you all for the work you're doing on increasing our access to the Hispanic community. And thank you, Martha, and your family for what you're doing to help with that project. That's been something on the table for a long time that we wanted to accomplish. So feel really good about moving forward on that. So thank you to everyone.
You're welcome.
thank you.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. Committee reports. We'll start with finance. Mr. Ganoblock.
Thank you. We have one action item for the board to consider this month. It involves a series of revisions to the upcoming fiscal year budget. As you can see from the action item document, if you've had a chance to look at it or review it, there's about 7 items that need to be revised in one way or another. These changes don't necessarily change the bottom line of the upcoming budget. It just basically moves some line items around. Are there any questions about any of these revisions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this action item?
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Mary, is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Martha, thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, Reno, would you please call the roll?
Jane,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Martha.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. The other item from the Finance Committee is merely an item of information. It involves the possibility of outsourcing our night janitorial work. Jennifer did some work at getting some bids since we've been unable to fill this job at this particular time internally. We looked to outsource this work, and as you can see on the item of information, outsourcing it would be a more expensive proposition than trying to do the work internally. So this is just an item of information at this point. Does the board have any input or directives to give at this particular point as we move forward? Hearing none, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is the position still open to hire internally?
We don't have it posted currently, but we will have to repost it.
Well, we wish you luck in posting that position, and we hope we find the right person for the job.
Thank you.
That's all the business that the Finance Committee has. We'll meet again Tuesday, April 20th, right before the board meeting.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Cindy, do you have anything for policy?
There were no items for us to discuss, so we did not have a meeting, and our next meeting will be Tuesday, April 13th. Oh, nope. Tuesday, May 11th. Looking at the wrong line.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Knobloch, Building Committee, I don't think you've met, but we do have I think a meeting with Johnson Controls or a meeting with administration to discuss some HVAC issues in our near future.
Okay, has that meeting been set yet?
I don't think so.
No,
But
waiting to hear back from Johnson Controls on when they would like to do it.
as soon as we get that and have some numbers, then we're gonna need to sit down and talk about them.
The other question I had in regards to the building, I can't remember, has the new reference desk arrived yet? And what's the status of all the relocation plans?
So all the relocation plans are on hold until we get the reference desk. It was scheduled to come at the end of March or beginning of April. So we are anxiously anticipating it. In the meantime, our floor was installed in the conference room, and I moved locations so that I can show you what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
Wow.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
So we're very happy with it. It's so much brighter in here.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
it is.
So
Good job.
thank you.
Is there anything else involving the physical building that either Jennifer or Reno would like to bring to our attention?
I don't have anything at the moment.
That's an acceptable answer. So the building committee has nothing else to report. Our next meeting will be April 13th at 4:15, unless we need to move on something that Johnson Controls brings to our attention. So building committee members, take note. We will
Thank you,
keep you
Jim.
informed.
Thank you. Nominating committee, that would be Cindy Parr, Barrett, and Jeremy Bell. What do you have to report, people?
Well, I have good news to report. Jeremy and I touched base today, and we both had been in the same position where we kind of dropped the ball and so I sent out some emails to everybody, and everybody said they would still be willing to keep their roles. So we have Linda Bolton as the president, Mark Denman as the vice president, Jane Andrews as the secretary, and Jim Knobloch as the treasurer.
All right, then. Thank you, everyone, for agreeing to continue serving. We appreciate it. All right, next up is old business. I asked Director Hess to put this on the agenda just to give you a moment. I sent all the staff survey results to you. I sent you a copy of the letter that went out to the entire staff. And that was after numerous meetings with Jennifer and Jessica, meeting with the executive committee, a lot of internal meetings with department managers, and reflecting on the results of that survey, and things that we can change, things that we can't, what we need to address, what we need to just move on, and what is just, in some cases, attitude adjustment. So what I wanted to do is ask if any of you that received that, if you have any questions or anything you want to bring up. Everybody good? All right. Well, a lot of things are being put in place, and we will survey the staff again in the fall and get their results before we evaluate the director in January. So we're going to do this more often, and I think that will also help in general. I do want to also let you know, under old business, that we will be meeting, Jennifer and I, maybe Jessica, I don't know. We will be meeting at some point in time with the foundation president and with Mr. Blackman to discuss what they're planning or what they've proposed to do in terms of the Turk building. Because Jennifer and I have talked fairly extensively about this. And I think before we do anything, we have to pull back and decide where we want the library to go in the future. I understand the vision we have, but we have to determine where the library goes in the future, not them. So we really need to backstep from this plan that, I know everybody, there's been some real enthusiasm for it, and I understand that. But, we're now looking in terms of, would we better serve the community if we built onto the building? Would we better serve the community if we offer a branch library in another area of the community that's underserved? What's best for the library and its future? So we're going to have some discussion on that. So all of that, as far as we're concerned, is still on hold until we get an idea of where we need to go and should go. Is there anything you want to add to that, Jennifer?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay. And any ideas you all have, email them to us. Let us know what you think about the library for the future. I mean, this is a group project. This is kind of started off in a singular direction there, but it's time to pull that back and really determine what's best for the community, what's best for the library's future. So we will be working on that. All right. Is there any new business? No new business? Well, that's a good thing. Okay. We can take some quiet time. It's been a little wacky, so we can take that. Again, thank you to the officers who agreed to continue serving. To my knowledge, we have no need for a closed session. Okay. So in that case, thank you all for your time and attention and serving the public, serving the library. I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all so much. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.